Are you ready?
Starting now?
Now you just messed it up, you knob. God, you know that the shit that we go through for this, huh?
I know. Fuckers better appreciate it. When we started, we were just like, yeah, we're just going to do this, man. You know, shoot our wad into the wind and see what happens. What's the title of this podcast again?
I don't know. I don't know. Something with a penis, I guess.
Right.
Our fucking faces are everywhere now.
Right.
You know, but
You're welcome, ladies.
Right. Popular with the ladies. Right. Oh, I'm not even going to apologize because hopefully it sounds fucking hilarious.
Yeah, totally. This is fucking explicit now.
The explicit button. Let me use my finger.
La, 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 la.
It is time for another episode of Sober, Not Mature. And that episode starts now. All right, everyone. Welcome once again to another episode of Sober, Not Mature. And, a couple of different things. Nobody's going to know unless I would have said it, but it's it's a Thursday, you know, so we like to pull back the curtain and let people take a look at things. But
yeah, we're trying to be honest these days.
Right. So I know we've recorded on a Thursday before, but this might be the earliest that we've recorded. It's 6:30 p.m. real time, which we're about like an hour and a half ahead. But hey, you know, we both had the opportunity. So what the fuck, man? So
right. Plus, you know, you got some stuff you're doing next week, so we'll talk about that, I'm sure.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I can ramble on about my bullshit coming up, but yeah, it was funny when you had said that. I was working on a couple of things and some promotional things I was putting together and sending out, and then I'm looking, I'm like kind of starting to do math in my head. I'm like, should I wait till eat till after? I'm like, fuck it. So I hit the early bird. I was sitting there. I made my dinner and I was eating at like fucking 4:45, which is only like an hour and, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes earlier, hour and a half earlier than I normally eat. But I'm like, it would have been like 8 o'clock till, you know, if I wouldn't have. Right. So I'm like, no, right. And I think you know me well enough. And if people listen long enough, I think they know me well enough. I can pretty much always eat, and I'm not going to turn down the opportunity to. I'd rather eat before now than later. So anyhow.
Yeah, plus you're getting to be an old man, so you know that helps.
You know, that's part of it, but I'm super structured. You know, I mean, it's right. I eat lunch around the same time because if I don't, I'll get a fucking headache. I eat dinner around the same time for the same reason. You know, I do plan myself around food because it's just gotten to the point, and you know, it's kind of amazing because. When, of course, let's talk about drinking on this podcast, right? Or previously drinking. There was a time frame when, obviously, before I quit, that you know, I mean, the majority of my time, effort, and money was going towards booze, which I know doesn't surprise you and shouldn't surprise anyone else. Right. But shit, when I went into detox, I was I think they weighed me at like 162. Or 163, something like that. Right. And I mean, I'm thinnish. I complain a little bit, not, you know, got a little bit of a gut here and there, but, you know, I'm at least 20, if not 25 pounds, you know, heavier than that now. And it's been a relatively, you know, easy to maintain weight because I don't even eat a bunch of fucking garbage, but I actually do put sustenance into my body.
Right.
Yeah. I go home at lunch and I drink beer and maybe eat half a sandwich and, you know, come home at night and I would eat some food, but it wasn't enough and it wasn't a lot. So
right. Oh yeah, I mean, Christ, at the end there, I wasn't eating much at all either, you know, and I mean, I couldn't eat until I got, you know, a certain amount of booze in me because it was just disgusting.
Right. Well, and it's funny too. I've never been much of a breakfast person, and I'm still not. You know, to wake up in the morning and like even eat like a bowl of cereal or, you know, God forbid, like eggs and all that shit. I can eat like a later type of meal, you know, like a brunch-ish type of thing, you know. But I started eating, well, I started eating apples and shit like that, over the
Right.
last, I don't know, probably 6 months, 8 months, whatever it's been. So I eat apples and I munch on peanuts and stuff like that. So I now I have to eat something or the same deal. I get fucking worn out and I get a headache.
Right. Get
So
hangry.
yeah, well, I call it fungry, fucking
Ah.
hungry. So Derek and I, and again for everyone, that's my son, but Derek and I were at a restaurant, probably Applebee's or some shit like that. I mean, years ago, and
Classy.
I know, it's a decent enough lunch, and like I said,
Yeah.
he liked the steak and all that stuff there, but um, we were talking about something and same type of thing, and he's like, "Oh, hangry." I'm like, "No, no, no." I said, "I say fungry," and he couldn't have been more than maybe 12, 13 maybe at the time,
Right.
and I'm like, "Can you guess what that means?" And very quietly, again, we're in an Applebee's. He's like, "Fucking hungry." And I said, "Yep." And he starts fucking giggling, and I'm like, "Yeah, that's my word, fungry."
Right.
So yeah. But anyhow, fuck it. Enough about me. Let's. Why don't we do a reading, Mike? That seems
Why
to be
don't we do a
what we do
reading?
and should do at this point. So
Yeah, sure. What the hell?
rock on,
All
brother.
right. Well, yeah, I got one. I don't know, a few days ago. Let's see, 4 days ago.
Cool.
Yeah, it jumped out. This is one I used to do at group, and I like it, so I figured I would share it. The soul is awakened through service. Erica Jong. She wrote a book. Let's see. Service is one of the cornerstones of recovery. It helps us step outside of our egos and ourselves. Our souls naturally seek out good and want to do good deeds. This is the divine in us. Service is not a duty, but a privilege. Service is taking gifts given to us and using them to improve the world and the lives of others. It is energy directed towards good. We are designed to be givers and not just takers. When we help another, we can feel our soul smile. Our illness stole our sense of value, our self worth. Service helps us to reconnect and see our value and our worth. Many say that it was through service work that they first experienced a spiritual awakening. This was their soul smiling, being happy, and saying, "Thank you for letting me be involved in life again. Thank you for letting me dance with the souls of others again." Prayer for the day. Higher power. Show me a need and give me the power and desire to step out of self and into service. Help me act from my values and not my shame. Today's action, because this is a program of action. Today, I will volunteer to do some service work. I will walk through my day looking for suffering that I can help lessen.
So you said that was from this week, huh? Because
Yeah,
I mean,
July 16th.
okay. Yeah. It again.
Yeah. Gee, you don't remember it?
You know what? Bits and pieces of it I do, but
Right.
the one of the reasons the service thing popped into my head was we talked about that on Monday with Mackenzie. We talked
Mm-hmm.
about service work,
We did.
and I plan on bringing that up anyhow. But just we recorded with another podcast, the Raw Thoughts podcast on Monday, and
Mm-hmm.
look her up on Instagram. Check her out on all the places that we are. Her podcast is too. The
Right.
episode is not going to be out, I don't believe, until August 16th.
Right.
So certainly a few weeks from now, but she's super cool, a female and a young person. So God
Mm-hmm.
only knows why she wanted to talk to us. But
Us old creeps that eat dinner at 4:30 in the afternoon.
come on now, it's 4:45. If you're gonna
Ah.
accuse me, get it fucking right. But no, I mean she was cool. But the fun part about her podcast too is that it's not just a recovery podcast. She talks
Right.
about has these, as she wants to put it, does put it, these raw conversations with people about all these different things. So I thought it was cool. I don't think we're the only sober people she's ever had on, but
Yeah.
it was nice. We had a good time. You popped out a couple of times, a little bit here and there, but yeah,
Yep.
it'll be interesting to see how that comes together. Thankfully, we have never had a guest pop off like that.
Right.
So, but anyhow, so yeah,
Yeah, but Bill was still there, so he kept it going while I tried to figure out how the fuck to get back in.
Well, and the funny part is when you came back in, there was at least two things, if not three things, that you had talked about, which I had kind of brought up, which
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't. I didn't look at it as a repeating type of thing. It was just I thought it was cool that again you were just off in some other zone, and you and I are still having the same conversation. So I just think that's
Right.
that just says a lot for what what you and I believe in all that stuff. So I just think it's
Mm-hmm.
cool.
Yeah.
But so back to the service thing. So the first thing I wrote down from the reading was service is a cornerstone, which it was said one of the cornerstones,
Mm-hmm.
which I mean obviously I think is true. And then I wrote down it's a privilege, energy towards good, and seeing our value and worth. And
Yep.
do you remember when? And I was just trying to think about it. When was the first time that you had, and I say had to because probably neither one of us really wanted to, but
Right.
what was the first time that you had to do service work when you went into the Keating Center? Do you remember at all or no?
Probably like the second week I was there. Yeah, I going to set up West Park Men's.
Okay.
Yeah. I remember getting in the van and hey, we're going and we're setting up chairs. I said, all right.
Right.
Right. Yeah. I sure as hell didn't want to, but I did.
Well, and what's funny is I thought about two things, and I didn't remember when and if I did the other one, but they were both at West Park because there was
Mm-hmm.
guys that used to have to stand up in front and shake hands when people came
Right.
in, and I think I probably had to do that, but the one that literally popped into my head was setting up chairs
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I mean, well, first of all, the Keating Center at that time they had two vans, right? Two cargo vans.
No, just one.
Was it
They
just
had
the one?
they
Okay.
had a minivan and a regular van.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, I
Yeah.
forgot about the minivan.
Mm.
So, literally a white paneled cargo van.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And,
Windowless.
oh, yeah, no
Right.
windows or anything on
No
there and,
seats.
no seats. Yep. Literally, it's a fucking cargo van.
Oh, well,
Um,
that was my first fucking day. I came in on a Wednesday and they threw me in the back of that van and took me to West Park Men's. Yeah. I was like, what the fuck?
right. And that was the meeting that I actually went to. My sponsor Bill used to take me to that meeting, so
Mm-hmm.
I always actually got a ride in a real car to that meeting for the most
Ooh,
part.
fancy.
Yeah, I know. Till you had to get like sick and get cancer and stuff, and then I probably
Right.
had to get hauled in with somebody else. But
Mm-hmm.
so I do remember in whoever that dude was with the dark hair, that used to be the driver for all of us, and because he had said that he's like, "Come on, we're going to go do that." And I'm like, I think he actually asked me, and I'm
Huh.
like, "Well, what do we have to do or whatever?" And he's telling me, I'm like, in my head, I'm like, that sounds like zero fun. Um, but the funny part is the way he put it. He goes, I'll put it to you another way. He goes, you get to get out of this place for at least an
Mm-hmm.
hour, if not more. And I'm like, I'm in.
Right.
I didn't want to fucking be there anyhow. So I'm like, well, fuck it. But we used to go at like 4:30, 5 o'clock, and then the meeting wasn't
Yeah,
till that was like an 8 o'clock meeting, wasn't it?
I believe so.
At 8 or eight
Yeah,
15 or
yeah.
some
It
stupid
was it
shit.
was yeah, right. We had to go real early. Yep.
Right. And then no smoking on the premises. So
Mm-hmm.
and the church always ended up threatening to kick the meeting out of there because people would smoke and leave their
Right.
cigarette butts. And
Mm-hmm. And they finally did.
oh, did they really? It's not there
Oh
anymore.
yeah, they're at St. Patrick's now, where my home group's at.
Oh fuck, I didn't know that.
Yeah, a couple
Huh,
years.
really
Yep. Yep.
interesting.
Yep.
But I mean, obviously, over the years, between setting up chairs, making coffee, something as simple as well. When I was back there for our anniversary weekend, we went to
Mm-hmm.
Stella Maris,
Right.
and there's chairs that you have to bring back, and
Mm-hmm.
I always put away chairs. You see, and I remember seeing people that were probably had the amount of time that we have now or less. They wouldn't
Mm-hmm.
do that. It was always like, oh, the new guys can carry chairs.
Sure.
I never felt that way. Who do you know? And all these other
Right.
meetings, and
Right.
again, even a couple of months ago, I'm like, I grabbed a couple of fucking chairs and took them
Yeah.
back.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. How the fuck are you going to be a part of this thing if you don't do something?
Right. But
Right.
yeah, I mean, I know we were immersed in that stuff, and again, things that I didn't want to do, but after all said and done, you get to chair meetings and secretary meetings, and making up coffee, or well, you sit at the table now, and you
Now
just
I'm the co-treasurer of my home group. Right.
assistant to the assistant co-treasurer.
Yeah. No, I'm the co-treasurer.
I know,
And
just kidding.
I'm actually the senior co-treasurer.
Wow, there's a junior one too.
Yeah, well, I was with Foxy Don, I was the co-treasurer, and then he stopped, and yeah, so we've got another co-treasurer now. But so I guess that kind of makes me the senior one. Whatever, man.
Oh, so you're
Garden
the
variety drunk.
yeah, so you're the head dick now there.
Right.
Yeah, this meeting doesn't happen if I'm not here.
And we do not govern. I wasn't there last week because I was up in fucking Cheeseland. So
I
there you
know.
go.
Yeah, we'll definitely talk about that in a
Oh
minute.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I agree 100%. And I don't do well. I don't know. Is this considered? This would be considered service work, I suppose, if we
I
really wanted to.
suppose, yeah. Poor son of a bitch has got to listen to us talk about breakfast and shit.
Right, breakfast and eating at 4:45 and
Right.
and Foxy Don and everything else. But no, and I guess I probably have thought we probably talked about that before, but I suppose anything like that, getting the message out or trying to help somebody else, or
Yep.
even though it's not at a meeting. I mean, I suppose all of this stuff is considered service work, and
Yep.
I mean, you get to a point where it's the same thing as meetings. I think that first of all, you go because you're forced to, then you go because you
Hmm.
have to, and then you go because you want to,
Right.
and I love meetings, but I like the meetings around Cleveland. So we
Hmm.
usually try to hit at least one meeting while I'm out there, but
Right.
I
Yeah.
enjoy
I
it.
mean, like I've said before, I go to one meeting a week, man. My home group. That's been my home group for 13 plus years, pretty much since I've been sober, minus a month.
Right.
Yeah, and I don't go there to hear the leads, and I don't go there to play grab ass with my buddies. I go there to be of service. Right.
Yeah, I always like that. That always cracks me up with because you had talked about that. I think in a couple of episodes. Yeah, not wanting to play grab ass with people. I just think it's funny, but and it's a it paints the proper picture.
It does. It does, and there's, anybody that's ever been to a meeting, there's always that group of guys that are playing grab ass. That's what they're there for.
Right, right. Well, and you remember too the Friday night meetings at the when we were still at the Keating Center,
Right.
halfway especially. You get these guys all dressing up in their best Goodwill polo shirts and best Goodwill
Right.
button ups and putting on some fucking over cologning themselves. And I say cologne
Right.
because probably Axe or whatever. And I use Axe, but I don't cover it up to cover
Yeah.
myself up the way that they do. And yeah, they'd hit what was that one meeting on Clifton that
I believe it was called West Clifton.
it probably is.
I believe so. I only went once because that was definitely a look at me meeting.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
I was just like, no, thank you. I don't need this right now. I want this, but I sure as fuck don't need it. So
Right.
I'm going to stay away.
I think the only reason I went to that meeting once maybe twice is because I think they used to give out coins like the monthly coins,
Right.
and I didn't care about the 30 or 60. I think I might have tried to get the 90-day coin, and then
Mm-hmm.
I finally got either a 6 or a 9 month coin there because I didn't I don't know, I didn't take any interest in tracking whatever the fuck I was trying to, well, whatever the fuck I wasn't trying to do.
Right.
But then I'm like, I kind of like a coin. And I went there, I think, for the 6 month, and they didn't have any fucking 6 month coins. I was
Nice.
like, motherfucker. But yeah, that was that meeting was a trip. Who do you know, man? That was great.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. That was hardcore shit, man. And that's what we needed.
Right. But I mean, people used to always say a bunch of shit about there, and they're like, "Oh, you're just going because it's a half-hour meeting and it gets over soon." Well, yes, but in over the years, and I know you'll agree with this because we've talked
Hmm.
about it, I've gotten more value out of those leads
Oh
in
yeah.
20 minutes than I've gotten from literally any other meeting, unless it's been the same person speaking at another meeting.
Sure.
I've gotten more value from those individuals that speak at that meeting because
Uh-huh.
it's a cut to the chase, get this shit out of your mouth, tell us your
Yep.
story.
Yep.
but get to the point, and that's what we wanted and what we needed, So
Mm-hmm.
it was a great meeting, still is.
It was. Yep. Exactly.
So what else? I mean, service stuff. I mean, it's again, obviously I liked the reading. I I don't remember this shit until we start doing it
Right.
again.
Well,
Um,
my favorite line, and it certainly applies to me is, we need to start being givers and not takers.
right.
Cause yeah, I was a taker my entire life. That was a big part of my problem. This world fucking owed me, man. And, no, it doesn't. I owe. So I do shit. Yeah.
I agree. And that's it just made me think about I don't know, it could be anyone. My kids come to mind, and Kimmy, I've always, kind of messed with her over the years, and whatever it is, it could be something simple, or I bought something for him, or whatever the case is. Just like, oh, I'll, give you the money back. I'm like, no, I don't need it. And she'd be like, are you sure? And I said, I'll tell you what. I said, either you can give me nothing, or you can give me $500.
Right.
And she's like, I'll choose nothing.
Yeah.
So that's my thing, And then, but she gets in the habit of always saying, "Are you sure?" So it was just a couple months ago when I was up there. Whatever I did. And again, it's in my opinion, they're not big things, and I wouldn't do it unless I wanted to and could and all that stuff. But
Right.
just, are you sure? And I'm like, no, not really.
No, but I'm doing it anyway.
she just started laughing, and I'm like, every time you say that to me, now I'm going to say, no, I'm not sure, not
Nope.
sure at all.
Nope.
But yeah, I mean, it's I don't know. I would rather I don't gifts are nice, but I would rather give somebody something than receive something any day of the week. So
yeah,
all right, so cool. Well, excellent reading, Mike.
All right then. Hey, guess what? I didn't write it.
That's why I said excellent reading. I didn't say excellent writing. Mm-hmm.
Right.
All right, so we've got the Foo Fighters trip that we're going to recap. We also got an email from a listener. Do you want to go through that now, or should we wait on that one?
Let's hold off on that one. Let's talk about our lovely trip up to Wisconsin, hanging out with the bikers.
Perfect.
Now, Bill, I'm sure our listeners want to know, did you go balls deep in a biker chick?
Sadly, no. I didn't go balls deep. I didn't go anywhere deep. It wasn't even nope. Was not. Well, you were around me the entire time.
I know.
And I would be like, yeah, when I went to the restroom, yeah. And in the porta john.
Right, a little porta potty action.
Okay, so a little side note on that. I think the first two that I went into, I was like shocked, because normally you go in and they're fucking terrible,
Sure.
They smell just fucking horrible. And that just everything's all fucked up. But then of course the last one that I went in, end of the night, whatever. So you had the hand sanitizer thing, in there, the whole container.
Right. Yeah.
First of all, that was ripped off, so that piece was on the floor. The interior bag was thrown into the urinal, because then you got the little urinal thing in there.
Right.
It smelled like death, and I'm like, okay, well now this is what I would have expected. Thank you.
Right.
But no, balls deep in a biker chick did not happen. Balls deep in balls deep. No, step back. Balls deep in a biker chick or any other chick didn't happen.
Nope, did not.
So whatever, it was still a good weekend. So
it was a great weekend. Yep.
All right, so yeah, you got here on Friday night, and
I did.
We did our normal thing. We hung out for a little bit. Of course, grabbed a pizza.
We did.
Recorded this little podcast last Friday night. Oh, and real quick with that. So far, and that episode is actually doing really well for some. Well, I think I know why, but we've got almost 100 plays already, and it's obviously only Thursday. And I think, and this is what I think, because I saw a spike in all of the episodes. I think we're getting a push from the Sober Curator. So thank you to those at the Sober Curator. So with the review and the fact that we're focused little faced, what am I trying to say? Featured.
I
Holy
don't know.
Fuck.
Wow.
God damn. Sorry. We're focusedly featured on their webpage. But I think that's bringing us a little bit of a new audience. So
nice.
If anyone is new to listening to us over the last few weeks, thank you. We appreciate you.
Welcome.
Right. So here's the other thing, that for anyone who doesn't know, Riverside, which is our recording studio, has this cool thing where it does a transcript of every episode and gives us a search function. Okay,
Right.
so I can search anything, and I'll give you an example. If we were talking about service work, and I wanted to
Sure.
look at all the pieces the clips, run a clip about service work, I could type in some of the words, service, that sort of thing, and then it'll take me to that point. Well, the only word that I've ever searched on here, and I've said it before, is the word fuck. Okay.
Right.
So I completely forgot about it, but I was messing around with something the other day, and I did a search on last week's episode. Yes. What do you think our number of fucks was in last week's episode?
Last week.
I can even give you our record so far. I think has been 113, maybe 120, but I know 113 for sure.
Okay. Well, clearly then it's less than that. Let's go 98.
I'm going to give you a hint. It is more than that.
Oh, is it?
It is. It's a new record.
Well, congratulations to us.
Right. So give me a guess. Somewhere over 120.
Shit. Well, let's see. How about 135?
160.
God damn.
So here's the funny part. I typed it in and I'm like, really? I'm like, that can't be. I mean, we went an hour and a half.
Sure.
It was just us and not a guest.
Right.
But then, so what happens is, and you can see this where the recording is, it's this whole, on the bottom, like where you can edit it, this whole strip. And I'm looking and there's lines everywhere it said. I'm like, holy shit. And I start scrolling down. I'm like, yeah, we sure as hell did. There's no doubt.
Wow.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, apparently we were a little hopped up and ready to rock and roll, man. Fuck.
I know, but there you go. So you just said it. I said it like 3 times a minute ago. The funny part is when I tell people things like that, they're like, "I've listened to you. It doesn't seem like that." And I said, "Well, because I think people have just gotten used to the fact that it comes out of our mouths. It's just general conversation, and I don't think either one of us. I don't notice even. I certainly didn't notice. I mean, do the math. In 90 minutes divided by 160, that's fucking crazy. Okay, but I don't force it, and I know you don't. So it's conversation wise, but So anyhow, I just thought that was super fun. But we recorded that episode, brand new record with the word fuck. And then Saturday we didn't head out of here. What the hell time did we leave? 11? Something like that?
Yeah, about 11. Yeah, a little after. Yeah.
So we had rented or booked a hotel in Kenosha, which is like 30 minutes south of Milwaukee.
Right.
All of the hotels around the city. And granted, Harley 120th, Foo Fighters, Green Day was there the night before. Summertime in Milwaukee. I mean, there were all these hotels were like, and I'm not shitting you, $500 to $1,000 a night. So we ended up hitting this one out in Kenosha. So we get to here's a huge air quote, the hotel, which is not.
No, it was not.
It's a fucking motel, and it's not a very nice one. So we walk in the room, and what do we notice first, Mike?
The air conditioner's not working.
And it's July 15th, folks, and it's summertime. Thankfully, the humidity was down. It wasn't smoking hot or anything like that, but it was warm. So Mike right away, it's like, this isn't working. So I walk back over. I come back. I'm like, yeah, they'll be back. They'll be over here in a minute. So chick cruises up, goes in there, and then she says she accuses you of not having it set on air, right?
Right.
Which it was.
It was. Yeah, of course.
So, they're like, oh, reset it, whatever. And then we're hanging out for a little bit. We went and got something to eat, came back. So figure again, now that's an hour since we were in there. So I walked back over and tell the lady, she's like, oh, sometimes when I get here in the morning, this one isn't, and it might take a while. I'm like, okay, but I'm just telling you, it's
right.
It's like
it's already been an hour and a half, and it's not blowing cold air.
Yeah, and then she says, "Well, we don't have any other rooms, but what did she tell us she could have done for us, Mike?"
Oh, we could have gotten a king bed,
right?
Yes, we could have shared that. Those aren't pillows,
right? That's literally what I thought about. Obviously, when she said that, we're like, yeah, we're good. We're fucking good.
We'll figure it out.
But yeah, so got ourselves together and went up there. But so let's take care of the other bad part about that. So we'll get back to the concert in a minute. But we get back to the hotel, and by this point, it's like what 1 in the morning or close to, right?
Yeah.
And
Right.
and again, it's fucking warm in there. So Mike goes to pull the covers off the bed because you're just going to
Oh yeah.
cover up the sheet, and then
Sure.
what do you see then?
There's no top sheet.
all the traveling I've done in my life, and you've done enough traveling yourself.
Right.
Have you ever
Oh yeah.
gone into a hotel that didn't have a top sheet?
I did not. I have not. Now I can put that on my list.
I know.
Check that one off.
And then so we're waiting for that. Mike calls on that. And I just went to get, there these little, the little mini 1 cup coffee pots, and it's the regular bag, and there's supposed to be a little pot inside. So there's one decaf and one regular, and usually, all I need in the morning is a couple because I knew we were gonna, I could get a cup of coffee someplace else. But so I go to grab the regular one, and literally it's empty, and
Yeah.
it's not open though. But there's nothing inside the coffee package, and I'm
Nope.
like, somebody had to put this in here. You didn't. How can you not notice that? So then I call the guy at the front desk. I'm like, oh yeah, we're in this room. You're going to bring over this. Can you bring over a couple things of regular coffee? And he's like, so well, I'll meet you at the basically their laundry room with all the linens was like right next to ours. So he's like, I'll meet you there in a minute. And this dude's got like this, he was nice enough, but it's super, super thick accent, Indian accent, I believe.
Yeah.
And so he comes over and he's like, well, what do you need? And I said, we need the top sheet. And he's like, no, but what? He goes, describe to me what you need. And in my head, I'm like, how the fuck else am I going to, a top sheet,
Right. A sheet that's on top.
And he's like, can you show me on the other bed? And in my head, I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? But so I did. I walked over to the other bed, pulled it back, held it up. Like, this is what I need. So he grabs the sheet, gives us the coffee, and then so that was it for the night. And yeah, it was what it was. But yeah. Oh, the TV didn't work.
Oh yeah. It was as you said, it kept us from being homeless.
Yeah, that was what I thought. We were both standing outside. I'm vaping, he's smoking a cigarette, and I'm like, literally, the only thing this room has done for us is prevented us from being homeless last night.
Yep.
But
it did.
But yeah, so anyhow, so we get up to Milwaukee and had a parking spot, which we ended up finding. That was cool. Easy parking there and cheap too. So if the website or the app that I use is called ParkWiz, WHIZ, ParkWiz. I've used it a couple of different times. Highly recommend it. Cheap parking, and they're good. Never been fucked with them. So if you're ever looking for shit like that, don't spend $75 on parking. Go through them. But so we get that set. We're walking over, and I posted a bunch of pictures on Instagram. But it was great. It wasn't that big of a walk over there. We saw the Foo Fighters coming in with their
police escort,
which was it's just the fucking sirens going off. We're sitting there waiting at the intersection. Everyone's like, "What the hell's going on?" And then they start cruising down this thing. I know where they stayed now. There was a picture on Instagram. Some dude got a picture with Pat, and Pat and Rami got a picture with both of them. And I looked at the hotel. They were staying at the Iron Horse Hotel, which is right over by the close to the Harley Museum. So but yeah, it was interesting. They had to have been staying there because that's where the picture was. But so yeah, they come in there, but then we're waiting in line and all that stuff. So you can take it from this part. So we're waiting in line, and then you heard music playing.
Yeah, and it sure as hell sounded like a female voice. We thought we were missing Joan Jett.
And it was, what time was it? 4 at that time, or 4:15?
Yeah, right. And she wasn't supposed to go on till like 5:30 or something like that.
Yeah.
And we were just like, fuck, and clearly, there's a lot of people trying to get in, so we weren't exactly running in there. And they had the metal detectors up and all that crap, so it wasn't quick getting in. Yeah, but it turned out it wasn't. It was one of the other bands, and this guy just sounded like Joan Jett.
Right.
Yeah, it was great. Yeah. So we got in there, got ourselves settled, and, got our $5 cans of water. And And yeah, posted up next to the soundboard and watched Joan Jett. That was cool. And then what? And then the country guy came on, so we went and wandered and found some food and got our $14. No, I think they were $12 brats. And
yeah, they were $12 for a brat, and then what was it?
Then $12 for a little basket of French fries.
Yeah, and it was so with between two brats and an order of fries, because I wasn't like super hungry. I just needed to eat something. But
yeah, right.
So I mean, what was that? I mean, $24, $30, $36, $37.
Yeah, right. Yeah, just change back on 220s.
Right. Yeah, but and it was decent enough. But the lines and stuff like that. Again, the line getting in. Oh, you had that chick that was a bit toasty that was checking out all your tattoos on the way in.
And all the patches on my colors, and yep. Yeah. Well, we had a couple of drunk chicks come up to us and try to engage in conversation. We're like, yeah, whatever, honey, move along.
Right.
Not interested.
Well, and I forget who I was telling this, that I mean, surprisingly enough, I thought there would be more, stumbling, bumbling, drunken fools. I mean, I really did, but because there was. And don't get me wrong. I mean, we saw a lot of bikers there, but
Sure.
there was a ton of, just regular fucking people, because I was surprised at the age of the crowd too that was there to see Joan Jett, I mean, this wide spectrum, which is really cool. I mean, she's been playing for what, 40 years? You got to figure.
Oh yeah.
30,
longer than that.
Oh yeah.
It's working on 50.
Oh my God.
1975. Yeah. So I mean, yeah.
And she's 64. Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But she did a great job. She missed she forgot one line in one song, and she was just kind of like la 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 or something, and she just fucking went on. But she's up there and she's all dressed up and playing her shit, and her voice. I was blown away at how strong her voice still is. You could tell that she she hit a couple of the higher notes in a few of the songs, but probably not clearly not. What they were, 30 years ago, but I was
who the hell is
well, exactly. But I was hugely impressed after, listening to people like, fucking Vince Neil or Axl Rose these days,
Yeah.
I mean, and I don't know, they sound terrible, but she was great. She was absolutely great. Really good time with her.
Absolutely.
But actually, you know what? Let's we're probably at a good place for a break, right? We'll do a jet break.
We will. All right. Well, we'll be back with more of this scintillating conversation, Sober Not Mature, right after this word from our sponsor.
Hey everyone, it's your friends at Sober Not Mature.
Hi there.
Yes, it's both of your friends this time. Hi Mike, how are you?
I'm well. How are you, Bill?
I am doing well, but we do have a purpose. We actually usually talk about our one website, but we actually have two websites now. So two websites in one. All right, so everyone knows we still have the podcast website that is www.SoberNotMature.com. And we just launched the store website, so we also have that. Do you know what the website address is on that one, Mike?
Of course I don't.
It's pretty easy, Mike. It's www.SoberNotMatureShop.com. So but from the podcast website, you can still hit the store link and get into the web store, or you can access it from our Instagram page through the highlights. We've been posting quite a bit about it, and we'll continue to do that. But do you know what's on the second website, Mike?
Well, there's a store. There are products that you can purchase for you and your loved ones.
Well, Mike, do we still have merchandise?
We have merchandise. Well, we got T-shirts and coffee mugs and all kinds of crap.
And one of the coolest parts, we also do have all the recovery books from Hazelden, which is kind of a big deal.
That is a big deal.
At least for us. So all the books that we read, God Grant Me, 24 Hours, the Big Book, the 12 and 12, all of those books are available for sale on our website. And
They
once
are.
again, that store website is www.sober.
Trying to help, man.
I know you are. You're not helping, though. Okay, now I got to say www.SoberNotMatureShop.com.
.com.
.com. Visit that today, or visit the podcast website, which is, again, the podcast website. So
www.SoberNotMature.com.
did you just say sober but not mature?
Yeah, sure. Write that down.
Yeah, like fucking mush mouth or something. All right, everyone, you've suffered enough with this, and we'll get back to what we were talking about previously. So visit the websites, though. All right, everyone, welcome back. And I need to pull out my dictionary. What did you say? Scintillating?
I did.
Okay, spell that.
I did. Well, while you're pulling out your dictionary, I can't fucking spell
I know.
it.
I wasn't really going to pull out my dictionary, but I knew what it meant. I mean, I can figure out words in context, but everyone write that down for, even though we say fuck 160 times, we use the words scintillating now 3 times.
Right. That's a 25-cent word right there.
but no,
and I'm just going to let you know, hopefully I won't lose power because we got a little bit of a storm moving through.
Yeah, it'd be fucking normal. I mean, if you did. So
yeah, right.
It seems like every time we do this lately, it's we lose you in some way, shape, or form. But that's okay. We're good to go. But so yeah, I mean, Joan Jett was good, and then the country dude was Cody Jinks, which I don't think I've ever heard of him.
Me neither.
But when we were, that was funny, when we were waiting for the Foo Fighters to come on, these 2 drunk chicks, they're walking by, and the one's like, meh. She's like, I thought you were Cody Jinks, and you're like, not a chance. And she's just like, right. All I said to her, I'm like, yeah, it's completely opposite ends of the spectrum on music taste. And she's just like, and walked away. And I'm like, well, fuck you then. I mean, you walk up to somebody randomly, but you got a lot of compliments on your Motorhead patch, a lot of compliments on your tattoo. The one dude told you a story about when he saw Motorhead or what met Lemmy.
Yeah. He saw Motorhead in some club someplace. Right. Yep.
But
thanks for sharing, pal.
Well, I mean, you have to expect that a little bit. You're kind of a walking billboard, with tattoos and that vest. I mean, it's got it's cool, so. Yeah. Well, people are interested, so it's just
all right.
It's just kind of like if you walk by somebody with purple hair and a mohawk that's about 4 feet off the top of your head or off of their head, you're probably going to take a peek, right? So
yeah, I'm going to take a glance. I've seen it before.
I know, but yeah. So and then obviously we weren't as close up with the Foo Fighters, which again was perfectly fine because. As it turned out, and we were looking on the way, I think back to the hotel, or no, next day. The next day they had it.
Next day,
the estimation was what 45,000 people.
Yep, 45,000 people.
Yeah, which was, I mean, we were literally probably right in the middle of that crowd. Maybe a little bit closer to the stage than the middle, but I mean and I posted it on Instagram, but that drone shot that I picked off of Facebook or something like that, I forget where I got it from. You saw the drones flying around during the concert. Right?
Oh yeah, right.
And they had this cool picture from behind the stage, obviously from a drone, and it showed just this massive sea of people, and then with the city in the background. And a couple of things, if you haven't been to Milwaukee before, it's not the most impressive skyline, and I'll be the first one to admit it, that the downtown area doesn't look that cool. It's not like a Chicago or, some of the other cities like that, but it looked really fucking cool in that picture. Yeah. It actually looked really cool. But then, so Foo Fighters came on, certainly with, they came roaring in, played, what was it, 20 some songs, I think, something like
that. I mean, they played for a couple hours, definitely.
Yeah, and they were, I think, as it turned out, I don't know, whatever it was, 5 or 6 minutes over that 2-hour time slot. And I'm sure, I know the city, the same thing as with Summerfest. There's a cutoff, and I know that they were getting probably pretty damn close to it, but or probably stepped over it. But So,
Rock and roll, man.
oh, I know. But so after all said and done, and this is, I think, going to be a completely different review than the Greta Van Fleet one from last summer. So Mike, you and I have already talked about this, but
Hmm.
you're certainly. I mean, I'm a fucking monstrous Foo Fighters fan. So I mean, I love the show.
Yes, you are.
But
Right.
so your opinion of the show?
They're good. They're a tight band. It's, I hate going to things like that anymore. 45,000 people just does not thrill me. Um, but no, the band was great. I mean, we couldn't see the stage. We were watching the whole thing on the screens. Again, not my favorite thing in the world to do, but they sounded great. Dave's a sweet guy, man. They're good. They put on a great show. I was glad I got to see them.
Right.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and that was the one thing, and even with the and I'm like 6'1", and I took and again I posted some of these things on Instagram. I was reaching all the way up to try to get a couple of pictures and things like that. And
Right.
if I really looked, I could probably see the tops of heads with my
Uh huh.
phone extended.
Right.
And yeah, we were far enough back, but the sound and having two big screens up on either side. But
Hmm.
the fucking funny part though is that once again, I love being tall. There's the only time I don't like being tall is on an airplane or in a stadium. Baseball,
Right.
basketball, whatever concert venue, because they're not meant for anyone over like 5'4". I got long legs.
Right.
Or trying to take a shower in a hotel, because I don't
Right.
understand why the shower head is always basically it's the height of my shoulder. So I'm
Uh huh.
fucking bend it over, which gets more difficult at my age. I don't want to fucking bend over to try to take a goddamn shower. But
Don't bend over in the shower.
right. But then, there was like two or three people in front of us that were actually taller than me. And then the one dude puts his fucking girlfriend up on his shoulders
Hmm.
right at the start of the show. And I'm like, really?
Yeah.
So I just I kept easing over to the left so I could see one screen, then easing over to the right. But no, they did a nice job. Oh, I read in the they did the first of all, this local dude did a review on it, and it was this nice long glowing review. Younger guy too. I think he had seen him once before, like 10 years ago. He's probably in his 30s,
Hmm.
I would guess. So
Right.
nice review and all that stuff. But when they did the song "Big Me," when Dave did that acoustically, I don't
Hmm.
from what they said in there, that wasn't a planned part of their set. He did that
No.
because there was some shit going on in the crowd,
Yep.
which he's just stopping. He's like, "Hey, are you okay?"
You guys okay over there?
Yeah, and it's like, I mean, nobody knows what's going on, but he's trying to get security over there, and I don't know. He said something about somebody must have been throwing up. That's what it sounded like to me.
Hmm.
But yeah, and he's like, okay. He goes, "So we're going to slow things down a minute," and he goes, "I'm going to sing this song to you like it's a love song." And
Right.
it was actually I mean that song itself is super short,
Right.
but it was nice. I mean that was a cool song. But yeah, everything there was. Not a song in there. There's a couple of songs that are not my super favorites of them, but yeah, they were great. I mean, it was my second time seeing them, but I had a great time. I had a really really good time. But
Eh.
but yeah, then there was the couple behind us. The this fucking, I mean, this dude was big, and I mean like kind of like overweight big, not like monstrous overweight, but he was definitely overweight. And then
Yeah.
his girlfriend, wife, female companion was, yeah, she was plump herself. And
Oh yeah.
they were, when we first got there, so we just kind of camped out, and a bunch of people just sitting down and kind of claiming their spots, I guess. And so they were just hanging out doing whatever with two other, maybe three other couples with them. And I didn't notice it until like halfway through the concert, but I had just kind of glanced over because there was kind of a separation where we were, and right behind us was almost like this pathway, where some people were walking through. And
Uh huh.
all these people they're walking by, like looking down, and I looked over. The dude's just laying down, still on the blanket. The chick's moving around a little bit, but she's laying down. So these fucking two people are literally just laying in the middle of this whole thing. They got up
Hmm.
for the last song, which was Everlong, which kind of cracked me up. But yeah, they just sat there, while late.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
laid
They
there.
just laid there.
They for 2 hours
But
plus.
right. So this goes back a little bit to what we were talking about, last week and stuff like that with concerts, and the only thing that I ended up because we were just cranking water, before, throughout the day because it was a little warm,
Yep.
just kind of keeping hydrated and stuff. So it was like 1 hour into the 2 hour show, I'm like, man, I gotta piss, but no fucking way I'm walking away from this. So I'm like, whatever, man. Worst case,
Right.
I'm pissing myself. I ain't walking away from this. Which no, I wouldn't have done that. But I might have tried to piss in my can. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
But other than that, I mean, just being able to be there, same thing as when I saw them 2 years ago, standing there. They played 2.5 hours last time.
Right.
And just standing there and being able to take in everything, and remember it, be able to talk about it, like
Mhm.
this.
Yeah.
But you and I talked about, I mean, you've been to far more concerts than me, clearly since you've been sober, but also prior, or
Mhm.
even you said you don't
Sure.
remember them, right?
Right. Oh yeah. Yeah. There's plenty of shows I went to that I have no idea I was even there.
Right. Well, and even the Pearl Jam show that I had talked about, they, for whatever reason, that was at Soldier Field, and again, you got to figure 90, 94, 95 area, I think, somewhere in that area,
Uh-huh.
and for whatever reason, that was an alcohol-free concert. So they didn't they
Ah.
didn't serve any booze there, which I
Right.
mean, I was there with Kathy. She came up, and what I was going to do was I was going to leave my car there, and I was going to shoot back to her place on the train, and we were come back in the morning, and obviously grab my car, and I was going to go home because I figured I didn't plan on getting loaded, but we were going to drink, but
Right.
I didn't. So one of is it?
Hear the
Oh, I
thunder?
do. Yes. I was going
Yeah.
to say, is that your bass drum?
No, that's upstairs. No, that is thunder. God's bowling.
Right. But yeah, so I mean, I fully remember that concert, but there's a ton of them that I don't. And man, I mean, it's just what a gift. So in general, I mean, we wanted to go to the Harley thing. We wanted to see the Foo Fighters. The hotel was what it was. I didn't want to have a bad experience, but it makes a little better, podcast episode to have some shit to bitch
Sure.
about, But what a gift just in general, to be able to take a trip with a super good friend, a
Mm-hmm.
family member, because that's what we are,
Right.
and just
Yep.
really fucking enjoy ourselves. Doing it
Yeah.
could have been anything. We could have went. I mean, I don't fish, and you don't either, but we could have went fishing.
Mm.
We could have went.
Well, we could have.
I know, but you know what I mean. We could have went on a bowling weekend. I don't know, but
Right.
it doesn't matter. We were able to do that and literally soak in everything, the good and the bad of the hotel.
And the ugly.
Yeah.
Laying on the blanket.
Right, yeah, good, bad, the ugly, laying on the blanket. But so speaking of drums and Josh, man, that dude is
Mm.
the drummer, Josh Freese.
Yeah. Yep.
So they obviously they talked about Taylor Hawkins. One of the songs they played, Aurora, was one of his, I guess, his favorite songs. I know he was a huge fan of
Mm-hmm.
Everlong, which is the reason that's my understanding. Everlong's been their closer for years because of Taylor Hawkins,
Right.
and
Mhm.
so this is the first tour with Josh Freese, and this dude's a fucking animal.
Yep.
Oh my god, he's just super. I mean, really good. And I don't know
Mhm.
that I would have known the difference if a drummer really, unless they really jack something up. I don't know that I would have noticed the difference. But
Right.
when they were focusing on him, the cameras and what did you call it? The double bass when he was doing that, right? With both feet.
Yeah. Yep.
Just, I mean, literally kicking the hell out of these drums.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, he was great. He was a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Good band, man. And I love Pat Smear, so
Right.
that's Yep.
But yeah, so it was a good time. So I guess if we were Siskel and Ebert, they would get 2 thumbs up if they were a movie.
They would.
if we were Siskel and Ebert, and if they were a movie, 2 thumbs up from these guys. So, but yeah, I mean, seriously, if you even you're a passive fan, which probably you are, like a medium fan, I would say.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Yeah, definitely. I mean, they're they're not anywhere near the top of my list, but they're a good band, and like I said, Dave's an engaging, good entertainer, and yeah, I'm glad I got to see him.
Right. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Just hanging out with you for the weekend was cool. So, yeah,
Yep.
we had a good time. But all right. So anything else? Oh, walking out of there. Okay, again, remember 45,000 people, right? So
Mm-hmm.
concert ends, they do their typical "oh, good night" with the second to last song. I'm like, they're not fucking done. They're doing Everlong. I mean, I know that. So some
Right.
people start filtering out, and then they played Everlong, and it was wonderful. Um, and then, we're making it out. I told Mike, I'm like, dude, I gotta fucking piss. So we're making our way over. We both hit the porta potties, and then we're walking out. And if anyone has ever, even if you've never seen The Walking Dead, just look it up. That's what it looked like, or what it felt like. And I'm sure what it looked like overhead is there's just this. I mean, again, it's 45,000 people walking out of this park, out of this. We got to go through this small-ish entrance or entrance
Right.
to get everyone out. And then, we're on pavement and then we're on the field. And I look down, I'm like, oh shit, man. I'm like, okay, I guess we're all walking here. But yeah, once we got out of that area, out of the park area, was, again, what, 10-minute walk, 15-minute walk back to the car, and figured out a way that we got out of there in like 20 minutes. Kind of went north a little bit and
Yeah.
got out of it. But yeah, that was it.
Yeah.
That was a trip trying to walk out, I mean, with all those fucking people. But again, fun, a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So
And watching the people stumble, and we weren't.
right, yeah. Well, and then they had the there was like posts, where they had the little, I don't know, things set up, so to set up aisles for walking in these little stands and everything.
Right.
So there's just now the posts, little areas that pull out are no longer in there. Then they got the garbage can, so you tripped over one of the posts one time,
Yep.
kind of stumbled onto it. Had you been drunk, you probably would have fell.
Oh yeah. Oh, definitely.
I ran into one of those and I think almost tripped over 3 garbage cans because again, you're in this massive, bunch of people. But yeah, it was good. It was a lot of fun. All right.
It was.
So anything else food related?
No food related. Yeah. Shit, man. I just had a flicker, so
Okay.
hopefully we'll get to finish this thing.
All right. So what do you think? You want to do the listener email?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's do it.
All right. So, and I had talked to you about this because ultimately this gentleman, we're going to have him on as a guest. His name is Gary, and he's going to be on, we pushed already all the way up to September, beginning of September, I think,
Mhm.
first week. But so the email that he sent us, and I had told Mike, I said, I'm not telling you what else he said. I'm going to save it. But so his email started off, just wanted to send you guys a note, tell you that you still fucking rock. I have been listening for a while now and actually went back and listened from the beginning to all the previous podcasts or episodes, which helped me put a lot of the context in place for your show. You guys help me stay sober, and it's great that you keep it real. And then this one kind of made me laugh. He says, tell Mike that even when you are discussing internal podcast stuff and his internet goes down, I do want to hear that.
All right.
He says, for once, someone keeps it real and it's not polished and produced. So, and he put in parentheses, so much of social media is a highlight reel.
Right.
He said, life is not polished and produced. We are not perfect. And your show reminds me of that. I want you guys to stay that way. Just my 2 cents. I've also enjoyed when you guys have guests on. Have you ever considered asking listeners in recovery to be on your show? And obviously email back. He must have missed. I don't think he's gotten to the point probably where we had that string of guests. So he probably missed that part, but told him, yes, obviously we have guests. But he said that I do not have a podcast, product, or promotion of any kind, just an interested listener. This comes up for me when I listen to you that I would love to have an hour to shoot the shit with both of you, see what happens. Unscripted, raw, and just like you and Mike keep it every week. Fellowship at a different level, which is what I hear in the deep friendship that you and Mike have. So he wraps it up with keep it real, and I will continue to listen. And just one more part of my overall recovery practice. Last line,
Nice.
and this one you'll appreciate. Keep fucking off until you get to a gate that says you cannot fuck off past here. And he writes, climb over the gate, dream the impossible dream, and keep fucking off forever. In parentheses, always my favorite part of the show besides the reading. So That
Cool.
was from our soon-to-be guest, Gary. And I told him, I said, make sure you listen this week because I said we will talk about it. But
Uh-huh.
same deal, is what we were talking about the last message that we got. It just, and you and I talk about this that, I was to begin with, and it, and I talked a lot about it. We used to quote statistics and all that stuff, and I was
Mm-hmm.
extremely focused on who's listening and who's not, and what are we losing. And now the good news is the only thing that I really notice now or pay attention to is we'll get kind of a blip in something, so,
Right.
but in a good way, but still it's I know that one way or the other we're doing this for us still, and it's still a selfish
Mm-hmm.
thing, and it's still part of our recovery. But we've talked about it for months now that we not only know that people are listening, we've been told that it's helping people, but one way or the other, when we get messages like this, um, it,
Mm-hmm.
it means a hell of a lot. It's humbling, and we appreciate it. So we're not begging for stuff like this because honestly, I think that the fact that we get so few messages and emails and stuff like that, and when we get them, they're just so fucking genuine. I just think that
Mm-hmm.
makes it even almost better. So
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it means a lot, man. Cool. I'm looking forward to talking to him.
yeah, but he went into. I skipped the whole paragraph when he talked about his story because I'll save that for
Uh-huh.
for him to talk about. But
Sure.
so if I sounded a little jumbled in the middle of that, that was why, because I didn't want to obviously didn't want to step over
You're
his.
editing on the fly.
Yeah, I didn't want to step over his story, but so yeah, all right. So I think that's good on that. So we have Foo stuff, well, Harley trip stuff, Foo stuff,
Yep.
Jane Jet stuff, listener stuff. So
Right.
I mean, I've got a handful of different things on here. The one thing I wanted to tell you, so we were talking about, uh, I don't know, a handful of episodes. We were talking about whether or not either one of us ever had trouble sleeping, and I
Mm-hmm.
think both of us had said that unless it's something good. Um, I've
Right.
had just a crazy amount of trouble. Not trouble. I've had really restless sleep now for the past couple of weeks, and
Uh-huh.
it's nothing bad. You know, there's nothing bad
Right.
happening in my life. It's all good shit. But I got it's like I go to bed and I do my 10 step and I clear my head and I do my prayers. I'm falling out easy. The same way I always do. There's nothing wrong with
Uh-huh.
with that part of it. But
Right.
I'll wake up like God. The last couple of days, I was just super fucking tired, and I got enough sleep where I shouldn't have been that tired. But it's like these these wild dreams, but it's websites and it's podcasts and it's fucking Instagram and it's all this shit. And I'm like, Jesus Christ. But here's the thing: is that I know for a fact that I'm not stressed out because
Right.
still to this day, and now it's literally been a month and a few days since I left my real job. I'll say there's my other air quote,
Right.
and I had
Mm-hmm.
heartburn one time, and that was the first Friday. That was the day that I was my last day when I ate
Uh-huh.
pizza that night. I have not had heartburn since at all. Yeah,
Nice.
I mean it's
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
just it's still it blows my fucking mind though. I mean, I hear about this stuff all the time. Stress causes
Right.
this, and your body reacts to all this stuff. I mean, my
Mm-hmm.
body's fine.
Right.
But yeah, it's super weird though because it's all good stuff, and I got some
Mm-hmm.
things going on, and I'm working on that, and I don't want to. At some point, we can get into more detail about the whole coaching side of things, but I
Sure.
don't want to. I don't want to occupy our time here. I don't want to mix. They don't need to be mixed. They just don't. You
Right.
know,
It's our time, Mr. Hand.
exactly. But just from so thinking about it just from a job standpoint, there's a lot of good shit going on and a lot of huge positive things, and it's affecting my sleep, which kind of blows because I'm
Yeah.
tired, but it's not in a bad way. It just again it blows my mind. So
Yeah. Plus, I think there might be some fucking gravitational pull shit or something too, because, I haven't been sleeping all that wonderfully either. So,
really.
whatever. I still get my ass up and do what I got to do in the
I
morning.
know.
So, yeah.
Well, what's funny though is that the alarm goes off and I'm sitting there and sometimes literally takes me a minute. I'm all fucking hazed up and I'm just like,
Mm,
woof. I'm
right.
like, and what the fuck was it? It was, that was another topic I want to talk about. Not another topic, kind of a continuation, but I woke up last night at God, it was like 4:30 in the morning, right? And no way in
Uh-huh.
the world I'm staying up. Because I mean,
Right.
I get up at 6. I'm like,
Eh,
it's not, I don't sleep in, but um,
right.
a lot of times, I mean, I get up and I'm like, I'll walk downstairs and I'll grab a bottle of water. So I'm sitting there in the living room, chugging this bottle of water, and I mean, it immediately made me think of what we were what we were talking about a couple of episodes ago about waking up and drinking at night. Now I just do it with fucking
Right.
water. But I mean, seriously, I'm half asleep. I took a piss and then I'm seriously fucking tilted, down in this water, and it reminded me of that. But so just as and it
Uh-huh.
made me think of it, I wanted to bring it up again in case anyone, because I think we talked about me being a maintenance drinker versus you being like an all in or like an all or nothing type of thing.
Right.
So
Right.
even up to the end, and let's just to recap for people who might not have heard it. So I used to wake up in the middle of the night. I would drink during the day. Well, I drink in the morning to get through half the day. I'd drink on my way home for lunch.
Uh-huh.
I had to maintain that, or I probably would have had withdrawals. But
Right.
you were not that. You were not a maintenance drinker.
No, no. I whatever, man. Phenomenon of craving is strong in this one. Um, but yeah, no, I mean, I couldn't, if I cracked a drink in the morning, I wouldn't stop. So I would, I drink so much the night before that when my alarm would go off and I'd go, work or whatever the fuck I was doing, I'd have, enough in my tank that it would kind of, I mean, I'd still be drunk when I'd get up,
Right.
and, yeah, so I'd plow through the day, whatever. Yeah, and by the end of the day, I'd be shaking and fucking rattling apart and all that fun stuff. Lovely way to live. And yeah, and then as soon as I got done with work, I'd get a drink somewhere somehow.
Right.
Yeah, but I had my little routine down, uh, just not a good
Right.
one. Yeah, but yeah, I couldn't. I would have loved to have been a maintenance drinker, but I just couldn't. I
Life goals.
yeah, right, exactly. Yeah, I if I started, it wasn't have a couple and then go do something. It was if I started, I didn't stop until I passed out or ran out.
Right.
Yeah, yep.
Well, and it just it seriously, and I know we talked about it before, but the next, I mean, the next question that I had was so, and you just answered it, but so you think that you literally drank so much that you still had enough booze in you the next morning to carry you through
Oh
before you
yeah,
got the shakes and shit?
yeah.
Okay.
Right. Yeah, yeah. By 2:30, 3 in the afternoon, I would be shaking pretty bad, but I'd only had an hour or so left to go till I could get to a drink.
Right.
So yeah, it somehow worked for me. I was functioning.
Right. Well, you had a plan. I mean, I got to give you that. But and because I literally I thought about that with and that's why I wanted to ask that question was physically how could you have done it? Because you and I were, I mean, we figured out that you and I were at the same level with our alcohol intake.
Right. Oh yeah.
So we were, I mean, right there, almost even. So in the morning, and I've told this story it feels like 100 times, but either way, I was shaking so bad in the morning I couldn't put my contacts in, so I
Mhm.
would need to take 3-4 shots, try to slam a beer, whatever it was. I had to get some booze in me, to even out so I could get my
Yeah.
contacts in. So that was the part that I didn't remember if we had talked about, but yeah, I mean, and here's the thing of it is that, and this is just not even maybe. This is exactly how clueless I was. I had this in my mind for years, and this goes back to back to the early '90s. I remember watching football games on Sunday, and if it was a noon game,
Mhm.
I would think in my head. And again, you're talking mid to late '90s that I got to watch myself because if I start, I wanted to drink while I was watching football, but it's kind of
Sure.
early, and I'm like, it's noon, and if and I knew in the back of my head, even back then, that if I didn't watch myself, I was going to get fucking tanked and feel like shit in the morning,
Right.
but I still did
Yeah.
it. But
Of course.
it also to the point where I remember always figuring that okay, I've does it, it I never really sat down and thought I can drink 7 beers and then I'm good. It was just a time
Uh
frame. I
huh.
had to cut off by a certain time and then be done.
Hmm.
So I would drink like my last beer at maybe 10 o'clock at night or 9:30 at night. I don't remember what that
All right.
time was, but that was the only restriction I set myself for. But so if I was getting up at, I don't know, 5, 6 in the morning, it was a good 8 hours,
Uh-huh.
and since I
Right.
had my last drink, 7, 8 hours. And yeah, I was, well, I don't know, even if I was drinking during the night, but it doesn't matter. I was shaking too bad. I had to, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it was just, that
Yeah.
was the part that I didn't remember us talking about. So you just, you dealt with the, as you said, shaking apart.
Yeah. Yeah. Rattling
Right.
apart, man, till I can get to that drink. Yep.
Yeah, which again is not the greatest thing in the world to laugh at, but that's what we do around here. And again, it reminds me of other podcasts. If there was one of these other folks who was just listening to that story, they'd be like, "Oh, really? I can just I feel so bad for for I the struggle that you must have went through at that time."
Right. It must have been horrible. Well, of course it was fucking horrible.
Yeah, and now it's fucking funny, because I guess we.
Well, yeah, right. What the fuck else am I gonna do? Yeah, I'll sit there and look at it and go, Jesus, what a fucking piece of shit I
Well,
was.
we still
Right?
do that, but then yeah, I'm going to call you a piece
Yeah.
of shit for doing that and laugh and say, "I was right there with you, bitch."
Right.
Uh,
Right. Which, of course, makes me grateful that I don't have to live that way anymore.
right? Yeah. Oh, exactly, exactly. And then, that was the other thing too at the concert is watching these. And surprisingly enough, I mean, throughout the day, there was like no litter. The people weren't throwing the cans. They were
Mm.
putting them in garbage
Right.
cans or whatever. As
Right.
we were walking out, first of all, a few people did. They had literally arms full, of cans,
Uh-huh.
empty, fuck it, whatever they were. They were beer
Right.
cans or whatever it was.
Beer cans. Yeah.
But then
Right.
I'm walking along, and this is before we get over to where the porta johns were, and I almost slipped, and I looked down, and there was literally this pile of cans about the size of like a trash can lid, but this fucking pile of just
Uh-huh.
smashed up cans, and I almost fell on those. I'm like, God damn. But yeah, watching people like that with these armfuls of cans, yeah, and you paid for them, whatever liquid death. I took a picture of that, which mine
Yep.
was terrible. Didn't like it. Not a fan.
Hmm. Yeah, you got the flavored
Yeah,
one.
you know what the flavor was? Shit. That's what the flavor
Right.
was. It was feces.
Right.
No, literally, it tasted like a fountain soda drink that the mix was wrong, or just no. If somebody
Mm.
just gave me the mix and not the
Right.
syrup, that's what it tasted like.
Right.
So liquid
Mm.
death, you can go fuck yourself. You're terrible. But then we just filled up from they had a little water section set up, so we just filled up with regular water for the rest of the day. So it was
Well,
fine.
which tasted exactly the same as the first can of plain liquid death water that I
Right?
drank.
What was it? $4 or $5 a piece for those?
Yeah, yeah, like $5 for a can of
Right.
water. Yep.
Yeah. But no, it just kind of cracked me up because I was thinking with these people are, walking out with these things. I'm like, God damn, I'm glad we don't have to live that way. Even Derek was saying we
Hmm.
met up with my son and his girlfriend the next day for
Yep.
lunch. They came down to Kenosha, and they had gone. What was that Summerfest, right? That he was talking about. And
Yeah.
then one other place that they were talking about that he won some concert, and he bought a couple of drinks for somebody, and I don't know, like a pretzel or some sort of food. And he goes,
Uh-huh.
shit. He goes, before I knew it, I spent $100 in like 2 hours.
Yep.
And I wasn't really laughing at him, but I'm like, yeah. I mean, the beer prices were what, $15, I think. At
Oh shit. Yeah. I mean, we had we been
oh
drinking, we probably would have dropped $300 a
oh,
piece.
there's just, I mean, yeah. Especially if we were
Yeah.
drinking the way that we ended. Oh, there's no doubt. I mean,
Uh-huh.
just do the math. Just 10
Right.
of them. It's $150. I mean, I could drink
Uh-huh.
10 fucking beers. I know I could.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, I had a pint down my pants, but right.
Right. Yeah. But so anyhow, yeah. But it just, like I said, the maintenance drinking thing. I just said that was one point that I didn't know if we had talked about. So thank you for clearing that up for me and our listeners.
Sure.
All right, so I wrote down two of the action items from God Grant Me. One might be from a week or so ago, but one I think was from this week. So the
Okay.
first one that I wrote down, it says, I will sit down. Again, we read all these different recovery books. They're Hazelden ones. God Grant Me is the one that Mike always does his reading out of. So that's what these are.
Hmm.
These are the action items at the end of a God Grant Me reading. I will sit down and make a list of issues I am avoiding. And
Mm.
my question is, do you think that you were avoiding any issues, or that you are avoiding any issues at the moment? Because when I saw that, and I have no idea what the reading was about, but making a list of issues that I'm avoiding, anything right off the top of your head that you can think of, even minor things that you're like, yeah, I really got to get to this type of thing.
No.
Yeah, and you know what? The reason I wanted to ask you is because I couldn't think of anything either, and I try
No.
not to think too deep on these things again, because I don't want to waste the thoughts until we get to this, but
Hmm.
still, I mean, I don't know of anything, I mean, I think of their like my oh shit, I got the email to do my renew my plates on my car. They don't
Right.
expire to
Right.
the end of August. I got it like a
Hmm.
month and a half ago, and the only reason I didn't get
Right.
it done that day is because I needed an emission test and had to do it when I was up in Wisconsin. But I did,
Right.
certain things like that.
Yeah. 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 Exactly. No, right. Of course. Yeah. My entire life, I put off everything, and yeah, oh shit, it was due 3 days ago. I guess I better do it. No, I don't. I don't do that anymore. Yeah. I mean, yeah. I comes to mind. Shit, probably 8 years ago or something. I remember I posted on Facebook. I was exhausted. I'd been on the road all week, and I came home and I had some food, and I put my plate in the sink, and I almost left it there. And I'm like, I'm looking at it, and I'm going, no, wash the goddamn plate and put it in the rack. Because I let something like that slip, and then I'm going to let something else slip, and then I'm going to be shooting
Right.
heroin. So, yeah, I mean, that's just it. I mean, this is part of the maintenance of my disease. I have to maintain things. So I don't let shit go anymore. I don't. And it's cool because then I don't have the worry and the fucking anxiety of, oh shit, I've got to do this. No, I just fucking do it, and then it's
Right.
done. Yeah, that's the way. I know you're the same way, man. That's the way we live our life today, and it makes it easier because I start getting that anxiety, and then I'm gonna need to fucking medicate that
Right.
anxiety. So if I don't have the anxiety, I don't have to worry about it. That's what this program has given me.
Right.
Yeah,
And it is. And we talk about the Keating Center a lot, obviously,
yeah,
but the
right,
reason that we talk about it so much is because once again, it's the backbone that got us into everything that we do today. But
yeah,
what the Keating Center is, again, not a rehab. It's not a rehab facility. It's nothing like that. It's not a detox.
nope,
It's a place. It's a sober living facility, and it's a place to
hmm,
teach you how to live again like a human being. And they
yeah,
connect people with the program of Alcoholics Anonymous. I mean,
right,
I'm sure there's other sober living facilities out there that are connected with different programs. That part of it, really, whether it was
hmm,
AANA, Smart Recovery, sitting under a tree recovery, whatever the deal is, the
hmm,
the whole point there is this facility taught us how to be humans, and I almost said
yeah,
humans again,
right,
but that would have
yeah, no,
that
no,
would have
no,
implied.
no. Right, yep, nope. To be humans for the first time
Yeah,
ever.
at 41 and 43 that we were at that time. So, but
Yep.
but yeah, I mean, it becomes just habit, and we've talked about habits
Yeah.
quite a bit. That you do something for in a minimum, do it a couple of weeks, and certainly a couple of months and years, and all this stuff is it's just part of our life now, which is cool.
Uh huh.
It's a
Yeah.
hell of a nice
Definitely.
way to live.
Yeah. It is.
So the second one that I wrote down, it says, "What can I do today that will live on into tomorrow? Plant a flower or a tree, teach a child something new, send a card to a friend. Today, I will do one thing." So that was I just wrote down everything in there. But so
Right.
let's even just take the first part though. What did you do or what can you do today or any day that you think might live on into tomorrow?
Well, there's this podcast thing we're doing.
Yeah, that's the easy one, right?
Right. That's the easy one. That's what I'm doing right now. That, it's going to be around
Right.
tomorrow. Well, actually, this particular one won't be around till Saturday, but I don't
Right.
know.
Right.
Hey, so that's 2 days. Look at that. Pretty cool. Um, Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, dude, shit. Plant a flower, you know. Mow my lawn. I mowed my lawn today before this storm came in because it was getting close. And yeah, I was like, I got off work early today and I was like, you know what? I could go home and sit on my ass, or I could go home and make sure that my house looks nice so the neighbors across the street have something to look at. They don't have to look at my ratty
Right.
yard, you know. Yeah, you know, I think I talked about it on a past episode, you know, when what a couple 3 summers ago, whatever the hell it was, when there was some rioting going on. Hell, that might have been 4 years
Right.
now. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, you know, there's they were doing it here in Cleveland. They were throwing bricks through windows and lighting shit on fire downtown, and you know, the old me would have been down there helping them out, throwing bricks and lighting shit on fire. And not for any political reason, not for any social reason, just because I like to fuck shit up. And, you know, and that particular Saturday when they were down there doing that, I was planting flowers in my front yard. So my retired neighbors across the street had something nice to look at. You know, yes, I like pulling into my driveway and having nice things to look at, but that's what, 2 minutes out of my fucking
Right.
day. You know, I mean, I'm not staring at my front yard all day long, but the neighbors are. So I want things to look nice for other
Right.
people. Where the fuck did that come from?
Well, you know what, and that's I'm two things. I'll say surprised, but also happy that you went into a different direction than I thought. I thought you were just going to say
Mm.
making my little corner of the world a better place. You know?
Well, that's, you know, that's the simple, easy way to say
Right.
it. But yeah, that's what it is. That's in, you know, practicing these principles in all of my fucking
Right.
affairs. Yeah, yeah, you know, that's what I do today. And again, you know, I'm fucking tired, and you know, I'm a little beat up because I'm old and out there mowing the lawn and shit and sweeping up the driveway afterwards. And yeah, but I did
Right.
it. You know, I don't have to sit here and go, fuck, man, the lawn needs to be mowed. I got to do that tomorrow. No, it's done. I don't have to do it tomorrow.
Well, and you know the other thing too is that the here's the cool part with like when I read stuff like or read stuff like that, you know, sometimes I
Hmm.
do. I sit back and even as you were talking, I'm like, what exactly did I do today? You know, that could live on till tomorrow.
Mm.
You know, and I'm like,
All
okay,
right.
so I posted some nasty shit on Instagram today. Um,
You're
but
right.
but then I also posted some nice stuff, you know? And
Sure.
every single morning I take one of these readings. I don't have to, you know, but I take one of these readings and I
Uh-huh.
post them on Instagram. And I know for a fact that people get something out of it because of the reactions and the comments and the specific comments, you know, the
Right.
people have done. So I'm like, okay, well I do that. But then I posted some more nasty shit on
Right.
Instagram.
Well, and let's be honest, man. You know, the nasty shit brings smiles to people's
Right.
faces
No,
too.
I know. And I was talking to Christine the other day. I had sent her a text
Hmm.
because she had in this post about whatever it was, what work do you do now in your recovery? And I just kind of liked it and gave her the, you know, the rock horns and the, you know, like the sunglass emoji or whatever. And her comment back was, she's like, so what do you do? What work do you do today? She's like, share in capitals. Fuck. So
Right.
she called me out on my shit, you know. So
Uh
I did.
huh.
I explained what my daily routine was, recovery based only. Um,
Right.
get up, what I do with my readings and this and that and then every single day. But in the middle of it, I said, go about my day, you know, trying to do the right thing. Like, you know, at night, make
Yeah.
sure I didn't hurt anyone or didn't act inappropriately and blah, blah, blah. You know, but I texted her after that and I said, I asked her if she ever did anything with like Instagram Live because she's not on Instagram as much anymore.
Uh
She's
huh.
got a busy life, you know, and she said she
Right.
hadn't much. But when I had talked to her about, it, I'm like, I said, would you I asked her if she'd be interested in just once a week or whenever she want to do it. I suggested her and I doing like an Instagram live type of thing with just a 5 minute little snippet. Now, where the thought came from was Dr. Sarah and Finn, which I think it'd be
Hmm.
cool for you and I to do that at some point. But um, I have the
Right.
extra time right now to take 5 minutes during the week with her, you know, so we might do that. And I'm like, it two things that it would be looking at, you know, is that granted, I'm never going to be shy about saying that I want to do it to try to help people because I think it would. She's a very knowledgeable
Hmm.
female with almost the same amount of time that we have. She's got 12 years, we got 13. She knows some shit,
Right.
and we know some shit, I think. But
Hmm.
it might be, it's also good exposure for us. We can grow. We're doing a podcast. I'm doing this other thing,
Right.
so there's nothing wrong with, benefiting from that sort of thing. But my initial thought was, I just think it'd be fun to do. So I guess that slides into maybe one of those things that, another thing that I can do. I need more shit to do in my own recovery program. And that would be another way
Sure.
to give back.
Oh yeah, definitely. Well, I mean, Christ, yeah, we could always do more.
Right.
Um,
Right.
right. Everybody, but uh, yeah, we can't beat ourselves up because we're not doing
Right.
enough. We're doing something, and we've got to remember that we're doing something. It's making the bed in the morning,
Mhm.
right? It's like I heard or saw or something. I think I read something about it. It was I think I read something. Yeah. And it was like, yeah, make your bed every morning because you've started your day accomplishing something. No, it's nothing big. No, it's whatever, but you've accomplished it. You've done something before you even leave your
Mhm.
bedroom, which is
Right.
important. We can sit there and go, yeah, well, that's fucking nothing, but it's not. It's something. It's not huge. It's not changing the world. Hey, guess what? We're not going to change the fucking world. We're not going to do huge shit. It's all about these little things that
Mhm.
we do. We just accumulate things. And if we continue to do these little good things all the time, then we're doing little good things all the time. It's
Right.
fine. Yeah, we did horrible big things before. Um, but it doesn't have to be that
Right.
either. Yeah, it's just, the next right thing, man. It's all that
I know.
matters.
Yeah, and it's just that's why I thought that one was kind of interesting, just because
Yeah.
it was kind of a long action statement, I would think, because it's like, oh, plant a flower, question mark, teach a child something, which, I mean, I'd be more than happy to do any
Right.
of that stuff. I'm not a gardener though. I have no desire to
Sure.
plant a
Yeah.
flower. But if,
Right.
at some point my grandson, might want to plant a tree, and I'm not going to
Hmm.
say no,
Sure.
or
Right.
might want
Yeah.
to go, I don't want to go strawberry picking or blueberry picking. I don't want to fucking pick anything but my ass, and
And
my
your
nose if
nose.
it
Right.
needs it. But again, if he wanted to do it, if it brought him a little bit of joy, I would go ahead and do that,
Hmm. Of
But
course.
but yeah,
Right.
it's just that, like you said, little things. We sometimes we don't even have to do anything good, just by just not doing anything bad. We're doing something for the world. I mean, really.
Right.
So,
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely,
oh, you know
man.
what? The one part that I just remembered this, that you missed when you were off of the podcast the other night. I forget how we got in the
Uh-huh.
conversation, but I explained to Mackenzie the escalator picture that we got, about the walking up and down escalator. You remember when we were at the Keating
Yeah.
Center? And I explained to her, I'm like, okay, because she was asking, I think we were talking about routines, and I'm like, this is the way it was explained
Hmm.
to us. Everyone knows what an escalator is. We always, just ride down a down escalator, ride up an up escalator. You can go up
Right.
an escalator that's going down, but you have to keep moving. I said this whole
Right.
recovery thing is the same way. It's like
Yeah.
walking up an escalator that's going down. If we stop, we're not going to
Yep.
stay there. We're going to go backwards. So I said
Yep.
and that was given to us. I forget who the dude was. I think it was that attorney that was doing group. I don't
Mm.
remember who gave it to us, but it's a
Right.
visual, number one, which I'm a visual learner,
Right.
but it actually made sense to me even at that time. And I was not into this thing at that time, but it made sense to me. And I mean,
Yeah.
over 13
Yeah.
years later, I'm talking about it. So apparently it made an impact, you know? So,
Exactly. Yeah. That's it, man. Yeah. This disease is it's going down. It's pushing us down all the time, but we keep moving and keep going up. It can't
right.
affect us. We will continue to go up. But yeah, like you said, we stop and guess what? We're not staying in the
Right.
same place.
Yeah.
Yep.
We got to keep moving and shaking, brother.
We
And you know what?
do.
I think we're done fucking moving and shaking for tonight, though.
I
Because
think we are.
I've got, again, more stuff, but I think we talked a lot. I'm going to save all this stuff we have guests coming up now for the next 3 weeks, I think, if I remember correctly.
So yeah, sounds
Yeah.
right.
Because we have Alex. which is King Roach. You've seen on there, and he's on
Right.
Instagram. We have him next Friday. We have Elise from Sober Curator the week after that, and we're recording with her on a Wednesday, but that'll be again Saturday release again. And then the week after that is G. We're gonna have G back on to talk about her. She went through a knee surgery, so we're going to talk about that process with her because I think it's important. We've talked about, meds and how people handle those sort of things. So first of all, she's a really good fucking friend, and we want to catch up with her too. But she had some shit go on with her knee, and we're going to talk to her about it. So
yeah, we are definitely.
All right, well, you know what?
Cool.
I think again, I'll say it. I'm fucking done. I'm done.
Yeah, you and me both, and I got to get up and go to work tomorrow.
I gotta get up and drive to Wisconsin.
You got to travel,
and I'll
right?
You guys will see that all on Instagram of where I'm going to be. Just remember, I'll be knee deep in a beaver.
Well, it's better than neck deep,
right? All right.
Well, yes, it is. It is that time. All right, everybody, thank you for listening to another episode of Sober Not Mature. As always, be kind to each other, be good to each other, do something nice for somebody else. Those little good things, man, they add up. And now it is time. It is time for you to fuck off. Then keep fucking off. Keep fucking off until you get to a gate with a sign on it saying you cannot fuck off past here. Climb over that gate, dream the impossible dream, and keep fucking off forever.
You got kind of
or at least until next week.
Yes. Yeah, fuck off forever, but please come back. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, you said that the one episode. You said that you're like, yeah, don't fuck off too far. Well, you got to come back next week.
That's right.
But it's just once again, having that email that closed out with that, people tell us to fuck off all the time on Instagram. It's just.
It's
you know what? I love it. I can't even tell you how. I tell people that all the time. I'm like, we love it. Keep doing that, man. So,
right.
All right. I think we're good. I love you, brother, and we will talk soon.
I love you too. Yep, absolutely,
Bye.
man. Bye.
As always, thank you for listening to another episode of Sober Not Mature. To access all of our content and interact with us, please visit our website, SoberNotMature.com. Thank you again for listening, and we will talk to you soon.